Terry, obviously a sombre mood around the training centre, understandably so, following the tragic news that David Paul has passed away. What's your reaction to that news, first of all, please?
Well, it wasn't a shock. I think everybody's in total shock and disbelief at the club, and he was such a popular member of the under-20s, and he's been here in his second year now. He's been here since he was 10 years old, so he's part of the Hibs family, and when you lose a member of your family, it hurts everybody. So yeah, we are hurting, and all our love and best wishes go to his family as well. He'll be hurting even more. So I can't quite comprehend the feelings that they're going through, but we know we've lost a good player and a good teammate, and that certainly hurts us.
As you mentioned, it's obviously a very tight-knit squad, both the first team squad and the under-20s, and David was part of that Christmas show that was staged on Friday. So to go from the euphoria and the joy of that to this crushing low, it must be a real bitter pill to swallow.
Yeah, when I heard the news, I was obviously devastated and shocked. I just couldn't believe it, because we've gone from such a high on the Friday, as you say, in the Christmas show for the under-20s, to such devastating low on Sunday. And all I could see, having done interviews and been into the room where the show was held, it's very poignant, and it brings a lump to your throat when you actually enter the room, because that's where David was half of Jedward, and he was up on stage, and he was performing well and enjoying it, because it was the last day for the young kids to be at the ground, because they were obviously starting their sort of Christmas and New Year holiday, and they'd be coming in for a few days during that period, just in ones and twos, to help out with the first team squad and our busy festive programme. But it was really horrible to be back in the room and remember that Friday, and to think that he's no longer with us. But we have to move on, and I've spoken to the first team, and we haven't spoken to the younger ones. Obviously they're away, but we'll try and get them in and give them some counselling and speak to them as well, because he was so well liked at the club. But I've spoken to the first team, and there's a few members of the first team squad that have played alongside David and been in the same under-20s team with him, and it's very hard for them to understand exactly what's gone on and how to really get a handle on it and continue their work. But I think some of the senior pros have been through it before. I've certainly been through it before with teammates and other members of my team, Phil O'Donnell and David Cooper as well. And when I was a youth team at Ipswich, a teammate died there as well. So I've had a little bit of experience about it, but we have to move on, and I'm sure that David himself would want all the players to continue the work and win for Hibs as well. So that's our aim, that's our mission now, is to do it for David.
How difficult is it, Terry, then to now focus on the next match against Ross County on Boxing Day? Is it now time for the players to grieve, or is the best way forward for them to focus on the game and immerse themselves back in football? Well,
time's a great healer, but it's very raw at the moment, because there hasn't been much time that's elapsed. So I think the players will be they'll have very, very heavy hearts, and it'll be very fresh in their minds and memories. But we are programmed to play and to train, and we are programmed to play for Hibs and play to the best of our ability. And I'm speaking as a player now, because that's exactly how I would respond, and I would want to be and do even better, and be a better player because of David. And it would put an extra spring in my step to say, well, I respect your memory, and I want to honour that by doing the very best I can for the team that you played for and the team that you loved. He never had the first team experiences that people like David Cooper and Phil O'Donnell had before in the past, so he didn't have that glittering career, but there's no doubt in my mind that he would have gone on to have a good career, and he was making very good progress. So I think the players' point of view, it's more a case of everyone else at the club of becoming stronger as a unit. We now have a mission, as I said. We now have a cause, and we we'll think very fondly of David, quite rightly so, because he was a special guy. But that memory now will motivate us to go and want to do well for him and his family.
You scored obviously against Rangers at Ibrox in the Youth Cup. That was almost exactly a month ago today, so it just puts everything into stark perspective, doesn't it, about the fragility of life and football? Yeah,
I was there when he scored. I saw the goal, and we liked him. And I was speaking to Jim MacArthur, the Hibs legend, and speaking to him, he's an agent, of course. And Jim had lost his son Stephen recently, which is a horrible thing. And Jim knows the Paul family very well, knows his father and mother, and he's very close to them, so he can speak from experience to them if they ever need any help on that aspect. But Jim was very keen to get him tied up with him as well as an agent, because we thought that David had a bright future. Jim spoke to me about him and said, "What do you think?" And I said, "Yeah, I like him. He's got good attributes. He gets on the ball, scores, looks to score, and playing in a role that I like, my team to have, which is one behind the strikers, and a player like that can get forward and supplement the attack, but also help out with the midfield." So I was excited by the prospect of David, but also the fact that he had a future, he had a bright, a good chance for a bright future, and excited that Jim was going to take him on. So it's just been an unbelievable shock now that that's not going to be the case.
So obviously we can hear the clattering of boots in the background. The squad are just going out to train. Is it correct that Paul Heffernan and Alex Harris are both going to take part in this session?
Yes, there's only James McPake that's injured, so we'll probably get the physios joining in as well, because will be out there in the blustery, windy conditions that's happening today. But I think it's good for the players to get out there on the grass, no matter what the conditions, run around, have a laugh, remember David, but also do what they're trained to do. So I think it's a relief sometimes to get out there and train, because at times you're going to forget about these tragic circumstances and do what you enjoy. So David can't be with us now, but he'll certainly be in our minds and in our memories now forever.